Hey guys, welcome back to Learn Tiếng Việt with Đại Ca. Today we're going to be going through our fifth lesson, Aspect. And you might be asking, what is aspect? Now, here's a formal definition of it. Aspect is a grammatical category that expresses how an action, event, or state denoted by a verb extends over time. And there are two aspects that we're going to be covering today that you are going to be seeing a lot in Vietnamese, and it's going to be the perfective aspect and it's going to be the progressive aspect. Now let's take a look at the progressive aspect first. So the progressive aspect is marked by đang in Vietnamese, and it denotes an ongoing action. And the structure, when you're going to be using it in sentences or when you see it in sentences, will be the subject, đang, verb, and object. For example, tôi đang học bài, right? We have our subject, we have đang, and then we have a verb and its object, bài, and it means I am studying, right? So we will always put đang after the subject before the verb. And basically its equivalent in English is am and then ing. Chúng tôi đang nói chuyện. We are talking. Same idea. This is our subject. This is our particle. This is our verb. This is our object. Again, this just denotes ing, am, ing. And this is, we can see the progressive aspect in English when we say I am blanking. Alright, very simple. It's just denoted by one word in Vietnamese. And our third example, tôi đang giúp mẹ tôi nấu cơm. Tôi đang giúp mẹ tôi nấu cơm. Alright, so subject, đang, and then our verb, and then our object. And then this whole entire thing is another clause, so we don't really have to worry about that. That's a little bit extra, but just keep in mind that đang modifies the verb that comes right after it. Okay, so đang modifies giúp, and then we can see it here in the English. I am helping my mother cook food. Am, ing. Alright, so this would be another section of the sentence that we wouldn't really have to worry about. And we know that am, ing is modifying help. Now the progressive aspect, pretty simple, nothing super difficult. Our next one is going to be slightly more complicated, but not super complicated. It's going to be the perfective aspect, and it denotes the completion of an action, right? And the structure for this is subject, đã, verb, object, rồi. Now, you might recognize that we use đã in our past constructions, but it's also used to denote that an action has been completed, which is why we call it a past tense particle also. And then here we go, we see rồi. This is one of the functions of rồi, which is to denote that an action has been completed, and usually you'll just slap this at the end of the sentence, and it's that simple. And then you can see in the first example, tôi đã học bài rồi. I have already studied, right? To denote the perfective aspect in English, you just say have and then ed. And that just means that you have completed the action of studying, right? Now, to make this slightly more complicated in Vietnamese, you can actually omit one of the two particles. Usually people will omit the particle đã rather than rồi. So all of this is going to be gone, right? So you could say tôi học bài rồi, and it'll still mean the same thing. When you include đã, it's slightly more formal, but you don't have to include đã. If you say tôi đã học bài, it'll just mean the same thing, although the structure isn't as common as someone saying tôi học bài rồi. Okay? So keep in mind that we can also say tôi học bài rồi, and that's still completely okay, and sometimes it's a little bit more natural to say that. Now, next sentence. Chúng tôi đã nói chuyện rồi. We have already spoken before, we've already talked before, right? Đã and rồi already says the same thing. It just denotes that the action has been done before in the past, right? It has been completed. Now, same structure. Subject, đã, verb, object, rồi, right? Pretty simple. You can omit đã here too, or you can omit rồi here too, but you need at least one of them for it to mean that we've already talked before, right? Or we have already talked. It'll depend on context. Now, last sentence. Tôi đã giúp mẹ tôi nấu cơm rồi. Tôi đã giúp mẹ tôi nấu cơm rồi. Right? I've helped my mother cook food already. Or I have helped my mother cook food. Right? Again, đã and rồi will modify giúp or giúp. Right? It'll modify this verb here. So it'll denote that this whole entire action has been done. The action of helping and the action of cooking, right? And again, you can go through the sentence yourself, but I'll go through it again. Subject, right, verb, and then object. An extra part of the sentence right here. And then rồi. Like I said before, rồi will always come at the end of the phrase, sentence, and it's very easy. And don't forget that this is the equivalent of saying I have verb ed and then da 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 da, right? And it's pretty simple. Now, in the comments below, you guys can try out writing these two sentences, and if there are any issues, you can just ask. But these sentences should be pretty simple to translate over into Vietnamese. And that's it for today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll be making at least 3 videos every week. So come back, stop on by. Don't know what day, but you can expect at least 3 videos every week. Alright, thanks for watching.